Along Colombia's Pacific coast, the hunt for cocaine never stops. On this day, the Coast Guard intercepts a vessel.
It's very heavy. Can you see the stern?
A fishing boat, suspected of transporting cocaine, that was racing towards international waters. Caught 200 kilometers offshore, it's brought to the naval base after a quick check of its cargo. 2 men were on board. Captain La Rota is no stranger to drug seizures.
This one's rotten.
As we can see, there's definitely a false bottom. It's possible the entire hull is a false bottom. The rectangular packages are certainly distributed along the entire length of the boat.
Look, there are worms everywhere.
We're going to break the hull. Now it'll be easier to flip over. The barrels also contain drugs. Empty, empty. This one has packages. Put it over there.
Colombia produces over 2,600 tons of cocaine per year. It fuels a powerful parallel economy with its own logistics and codes.
Right now, we're identifying the mark of the person who manufactures the product.
The logo of a famous automobile brand, with no connection to the business. Drug traffickers use prestigious emblems to mark their merchandise.
We're now going to conduct a preliminary test to determine the type of substance. If it turns blue, it's positive for cocaine hydrochloride.
The transporters are often simple fishermen. They generally don't know who they're working for.
They're usually organized armed groups like the FARC. Here in the Pacific, we have the Jaime Martinez column to the south, the ELN, and part of the Gulf Clan.
After several hours of searching in the middle of the night, the official photo concludes the seizure. The final count, 346 kilos of cocaine. Its estimated value, $16 million. For over 40 years, coca cultivation has been spreading across Colombia. 260,000 hectares are cultivated throughout the country, according to the United Nations. Despite decades of anti-drug efforts, coca thrives and adapts.
Every day it evolves. New seeds appear, more resistant to pests, or with better yields.
The harvest happens every 3 months. No agricultural product offers such a return on this depleted land. Approximately 300,000 families cultivate coca in Colombia, more than 2% of the population. The pickers are day laborers, paid by the weight of leaves collected.
27.
Diego started as a picker and was gradually able to buy his own plots. In the marginalized regions of the south and east of the country, coca remains the pillar of the local economy.
When they don't buy our coca product, everyone's screwed. Even those who own stores, because everyone lives off it. We all live off coca.
Diego's field has suffered from bad weather. The harvest is meager. For this father, 3 days of work with his 2 teenage children for barely 60 euros.
What can we do if everyone here cultivates this? It's what sells and keeps us alive. It's not the case here, but there are regions where armed groups force people to cultivate coca because they live off drug trafficking. That's the sad reality. Those who have the weapons give the orders.
In all coca zones, armed groups control the market from prices to logistics. The ELN guerrilla, the Gulf Clan, and groups emerging from the former FARC guerrilla fight over these lands. They come to farmers to buy what is the product of an initial processing of the leaves. Barely harvested, they're mixed with soda, lime, and fuel.
At one point, I couldn't work anymore. I had an allergy, a strong one. It was all over my body.
For decades, Colombia waged a war against coca with military support from the United States. President Gustavo Petro, elected in 2022, wanted to focus on rural development rather than forced eradication of coca. But in September 2025, the Trump administration revoked Colombia's status as a reliable partner and suspended financial and military aid. In this new context, Bogotá is defending a different strategy.
This is the first drug policy in the world that openly recognizes that the traditional model of fighting drugs has failed. It's a policy with two main parts. The first is called oxygen, and what we intend with this entire component is to address, from the state's social policy, the weakest actors in the chain or system of drug trafficking.
Coca regions are areas of armed conflict. In Catatumbo, fighting between two guerrilla groups displaced more than 50,000 people in early 2025. This is where the government launched its coca substitution program.
Where is Israel Quintero? A brave man who's betting on peace and carrying out the process of substituting coca for palm plantations. Today, more than 900 families are receiving all the tools and resources they need to launch a legal, productive project that will transform their land.
Gloria Miranda came to Dibú to regain trust lost after the failure of previous substitution programs.
To all the people of Catatumbo who have lived off illicit crops for a long time, I want to say yes, coca has generated income, but it's come at a very high price, the price of war, pain, and suffering.
These farmers are tired of the violence that coca inevitably brings.
Day after day, we're going from war to war. We're losing our young people in fighting. They're being recruited by armed groups.
These families have uprooted their coca to plant cocoa or palm. They'll receive a small monthly income and be supported in selling their crops.
Thank God. Blessed be God for all these blessings.
But the program remains insufficient given the scale of the problem. Only 20,000 families will benefit nationwide.
The second part of the policy is asphyxiation, and it involves attacking the actors of greatest strategic value in the drug trafficking system. That means those who profit most from drug trafficking.
Colombia is now directing its efforts to target cocaine trafficking. Shipments depart primarily by sea, the Caribbean Sea to the north, the Pacific Ocean to the west. Seizures directly affect traffickers' profits. This is where authorities get the best results.
Buenos días, capitán.
Captain Larota and his men track cocaine leaving the country via the Pacific. Every day, cargo ships loaded with hundreds of containers leave the port of Buenaventura, headed for Asia, North America, or Europe. It's impossible to control everything.
We're informing you. We're going to begin underwater inspection of the motor vessel.
Traffickers constantly innovate. Sometimes, the drugs are stashed in compartments attached to the submerged walls of cargo ships without the crew's knowledge.
They do this at night with their own divers, people trained to carry out this type of intervention on large vessels.
Clandestine boats depart from these verdant coasts despite increasingly sophisticated controls. Farther north, since September 2025, the United States has been bombing them without warning. The Colombian Navy say they respect the rights of those at the lowest rungs of the drug trafficking chain, particularly when intercepting submarines.
If they're intercepted by authorities, what they do is open the bottom valves so the submarine sinks, and we must automatically treat them as shipwrecked persons.
At the Bahia Malaga Naval Base, seized narco submarines from recent years are on display.
Here we can see the crew compartment. They have the engine very close.
Designed to transport several tons, they can navigate for 10 to 15 days from one continent to another. Colombia seized nearly 900 tons of cocaine in 2024, a record amount that increases every year. But production is growing at the same rate as seizures.
The chocolate is ready.
After a first extraction of the alkaloid comes another stage, preparing cocaine base paste.
You can't imagine the amount of chemicals in this.
Diego learned the formula by watching others. It's the second time he's doing it alone, to earn a bit more. But lately, buyers have been demanding better quality.
They turn it into white powder, and they want better quality, so it's cheaper for them to produce it.
After hours of trials and mixing, the fruit of the harvest is in the pot. 2 kilos of cocaine-based paste, which still needs to be fried.
Let's say it affects me. When I fry this, if it's a lot, I can't sleep. Because this stuff, you wouldn't think so, but it goes straight to your head.
Next to his coca, Diego has planted a hectare of cocoa without government help.
With 3 hectares, I'd be relaxed. I wouldn't worry about messing with coca anymore. This is my dream. And since I haven't woken up yet, I just keep dreaming.
Sometimes, farmers manage to escape the grip of coca. Colombia, however, remains a prisoner of the drug trafficking scourge, fueling an endless war.